Hi, welcome to Inspiring You with Sylvia Yu. I'm thrilled to welcome my guest today, Irene Zay. She's incredible and she is a superwoman, and you'll know why after this interview. Irene is the executive director of a listed company, as well as the director of 5 medical equipment companies in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, as well as a startup. She's also a consultant for fitness centers in China, medical groups in Hong Kong, and she's very active in different associations and chambers. Irene has been in a management role in the medical equipment industries for over 20 years. And she has pioneered different impressive projects in the rehabilitation field in the region. And in her spare time, and it's a mystery how she manages to juggle it all, and she is a mom as well. She serves as the president of the Rotary Club of Hong Kong. Irene, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing and what are you working on these days?
Hello, Sylvia. Thank you for having me. What a great introduction you have for me. Um, I just totally loved it. I did not even realize I've been working on so many things at the same time. Recently, one of the projects that I'm most proud of is a joint venture project that we have with the Chinese university. It's about how to channel out or export a system invented by professors in Chinese university, which has won several international awards, such as the Geneva Award, and it was on the news many times.
Mm.
We are very proud to represent them because we feel that we should export, great technologies from Hong Kong to overseas and let people use it.
Excellent, excellent. So, and how about your work at the Rotary? How is that going? What are you working on?
We have like several projects in Rotary this year. Thank you for asking that. One of the projects that I feel most proud of is to, help underprivileged women who never have HPV shots to get the HPV shots for free because this is so important. I was so um, when I work on this project, I did not realize there were so many women who did not know the importance of getting vaccination. And in fact, cervical cancer is like the fourth most common cancer among people. So it's very important to get prevention.
Absolutely, absolutely. How did you get started in this line of work in pioneering in the biomedical technologies field?
It's a very funny story. Actually, one day my dad told me that he bought like a group of companies, and one of the companies that he bought is about medical company where they have like a lot of pioneer products and projects in Hong Kong. And I have just resigned from my previous company, which was like a Japanese human resources company. I was like the top sales in there. I don't find it too challenging anymore. So hearing what my dad said, I thought it would be quite interesting to start on a field that did not have like a lot of women on high level. So this is how I get work in this field.
Mhm. So what project are you most proud of?
Uh, there was this project that I am very proud of because it's quite difficult that we have built the first medical grade hydrotherapy pool in Hong Kong. It's like the first kind of that level in Asia.
Mhm.
And we just got a lot of news and coverage for that because it's very difficult that you need to combine the knowledge and skills from medical equipment of the fitting in as well as some renovation like the fitting in of the pool, use of elevator, how's the transportations of the raw materials onto the site. So that is the project that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, and it was for palliative care for those in end of life stage, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And it could be used for rehabilitation purpose. And
Mhm.
on the opening of the pool, we even have the CE at that time, Miss Carrie Lam, who
Yes.
stood in front of our pool and gave a speech saying that she wished she could use that one day to help her recover from her back pain. So we are very proud.
Wow. Have there been any challenges as one of the few women who are in this field, and you're quite at the top of the executive chain, right? As a director, have there been any challenges?
Yeah, to give you an example, whenever I was in a meeting with like a group of engineers where I have to, I realized that a lot of men will ask me questions. If I answer it in a technical aspect, they will go confirm with my engineers who are the male at the room. So I find that quite interesting. Yeah. And it's quite yeah, it's quite interesting to look at.
Okay. And how do you persevere through that? And what advice would you give to other women in the same situation?
I think you just need to handle it with grace, like understanding that they might just want to reconfirm your knowledge. It's nothing to do with your gender,
Mhm.
and you need to be quite diplomatic because as a woman, what I found is useful in this field is because our field is biomedical engineering, and most of the engineers are guys. And when they have like an argument, it's very hard for them to resolve the differences because they all think they're the best. So as a woman, I try to mingle through them. I try them to look at their similarities rather than differences. So by doing so, I let them put down their ego and focus on the matters. So it's effective from my perspective as a woman.
Mm, yeah, being unflappable and not taking anything personally. That is such great advice, Irene. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you juggle it all? I mean, you're doing not just small jobs, but many huge responsibilities, and you are handling it with such grace. I never see you stressed out.
um, I found that, when there are like a lot of projects going on, the most important thing you need to ask yourself is that are those questions like fundamental questions that you're answering to, or they're just previous matters that keep looping you on and on and on onto the same track, but it never gets solved. So I think in order to be successful, to be able to multitask, you really have to go into the fundamental questions and try to change the route so that the future problems will not occur. And another trick that I try to use is that do not be so personal on people's criticism. They may have like a very bad day, or they sound very unfriendly, but actually they're not. And try to not take it so personally, and let it dissolve in a while.
Yeah, you do have amazing EQ, Irene. And yet you're very sensitive to people. How did you develop that?
I think it's because of my parents. My mom is a very super sensitive person. She's like very introvert. So I learned how to speak with her carefully, not to hurt her feelings too much. And
Yes.
I observe how my father tried to, speak it slowly or take one thing at a time in order to manage her emotions.
Mhm.
So I learned it from them.
No wonder, no wonder. And any tips on how you manage to juggle kids and career? As a working mom, um,
Yeah.
I find that you are incredible at you know everything about your kids, and you're very involved, and yet I don't know how you manage to squeeze that in your schedule. So share your wisdom on that.
Okay. I think I'm very one of those very super lucky mom who have great relationships with my children. We love each other. And I think it's very important that when you interact with them when they were quite young, you
Mm,
also know their friends and you also know um, their parents, like your friends, your kids' best friends' parents. I mingle with them from time to time so that they can share like how my kids are doing from their kids' perspective.
mm,
So I found it useful. And also, I try to mingle with them not only, about academic kind of matters. I try to talk to them and listen to them. And when they have like different opinion, I leave it as it is, unless it's like morally incorrect or it's not even nice to people. I'll tell them that might be other people can get hurt or
mm.
things like that. But when we have like a different opinion, I just let it as it is. I do not correct them. I let them experience life as it is.
Okay. In your life career, what are 2 to 3 milestones that you'd like to share?
Um, I think going to Canada overseas to study really broadened my horizons because there's like people from different countries, different culture. It's really, really nice to get to know people and see the world. And the second milestone is really about my divorce, being a single mom, try to handle my own emotions as well as my kids' emotion and juggling through a job is something that after you've been through, you go like, wow, that's quite a learning and a teaching. It's like a blessing too. Me and my kids got closer, and the third thing would be coming back to work with my dad to develop the medical equipment company and put it into another level. Really, really broaden my horizon. I get to know a lot of wonderful people in the healthcare field and amazed by all those technologies that they use to improve people's health nowadays. So I am just amazed.
Yeah. Well, can you touch on any trends to watch out for in the medical technology field?
Yeah, I think the most hot topics in our field nowadays will be exoskeleton, meaning that people with cerebral palsy, due to strokes, due to car incidents, due to whatever problems that they have, they can put on like an Iron Man suit and then they can regain mobility. I think that is the hottest topic. And in our field, there are already skeletons like that, but the problem is that it's always so expensive. It will be around $1 million to $3 million, where the patients are so difficult to purchase one to use it, and only hospitals can afford it. So we're looking forward to the next generations where the price would be more or less like an electrical wheelchair, and it will help people to mobilize. So this will be something to look at in our field.
So you do foresee that it will be affordable someday.
Yeah, yeah, it should be. It should be to help more people. Yeah.
What about AI? Are you looking at AI projects as well? Because I've read something about an AI chip in the brain that stimulates the brain and enables a person to walk again. Something like that. But is that something you're considering or looking at?
Yes, our industry talks a lot about AI, but I think that the moment that the more logical application and legal, because all the medical doctors have their licenses, application would be to assist radiologists or medical doctors to make diagnosis. So in terms of diagnosis, I think they're very good. It can help to speed up radiologist diagnosis. But as for other applications, I still think the technology is still quite young because I was sharing this example with my friend the other day. Let's say, Sylvia, you went to see a doctor, okay? You're having a surgery, okay? For you, this is so important and you cannot afford 1% of error, right? So if I tell you that you have an AI doctor or robotic doctor to give you, a surgery, will you prefer that?
Never.
Most of yeah, most of the people will not do it. But if I tell you that the medical doctor, your
Mm,
physicians will be responsible, but the AI is going to be used as a tool to facilitate his work if he has any error of he needs more information. You'll be so glad, right? You feel that you have like a powerful computer to back you up.
mm,
So I think for our industry, it's very hard to entirely rely on AI or robots to make to replace the medical doctors, because as far as I remember, there was this one incident and a big accident in I cannot remember, in Taiwan. Okay, there was this train. It's like one of those trains that you do not need to use drivers.
mm, mm,
Okay, the train drivers. So what happened was that there was some tall lamp post and something fell out on the railway ahead of the train. If it's like a human driving the train, you would have stopped it, but
mm.
the AI cannot detect because it has not been trained with all kinds of accidents that is going and that was happened. So I don't know, maybe in the future they will have technology like that. We're still developing, but at the moment, that would be some blind spots for AI to control. And as for medical application, we need to be so careful and we cannot allow any failure. So I think AI is still a long way to go in terms of our field.
Yeah. Compared to the West, how is Asia with medical technologies and biomedical technologies?
I think Western medicine is very much focused on surgery because Western world, we have like two world wars. There's like a lot of surgeries need to be done during the war, so they are very advanced in terms of surgery. And for Eastern medicine, we do not have like a lot of surgeries practice. We are more into like acupuncture, balance of energy. So most of the medical equipment that is used in the Eastern medicine would be something like an energy booster, like an ultrasound or a laser to balance out the energy that was unbalanced in the body. So that was quite different area of application.
Fascinating. So who has inspired you in your life or work? Who would you say has been your greatest motivator?
Um, I would say my kids, honestly. I,
Yeah.
looking at them, I understand what does it mean by unconditional love.
Uh,
I always talk to them and then I say, kids, how can I love you more? I do not spend enough time with you and you're still doing so well. Is there anything you want mommy to do? And then my kids will always tell me that you have done everything your best and there's nothing that they want more. So
Oh,
that's very supportive.
oh, that's so precious. And I
Yeah,
met your daughter, and she is so solid. She's
yeah,
very precious and so smart. Wow, you are very blessed.
I think
Can
so
you
too.
can you share, Irene, about like a mistake or a failure and how you overcame it?
Okay, there was this mistake. It was so huge that I was on the hospital's emergency contact list that they have to contact me to go to the hospital and fix the problem. It was like on the New Year's Eve. I remember it because after I finished the family dinner, I have to go back to the hospitals and talk to the people there. And we even have like a countdown with the hospital staff on the 31st of December together. So that was quite a problem. And yeah, this is one of the biggest mistakes or crisis that we need to manage, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. And how did you overcome any advice that you would have for others from what you learned in that situation?
I found that when you have like a crisis or a problem, you really need to calm down. You just need to calm down, be very genuine, and talk to, well, in my case, I have to talk to the senior staff in the hospital, just being genuine and just discuss with them like what kind of resources we can put in despite it's New Year's Eve
Mm.
and everybody is going to church. I literally call a few doctors and they go like, I'm in the midnight mass. I cannot come. So you just need to be resourceful, calm down, and make a few calls and discuss with your customers like genuinely. Do not try to hide anything. It's not, make you go anywhere with your problems. Just talk to them. Yeah, and be genuine.
Yes, and stay calm. Stay calm. Wise
Yeah.
words, because some people do really well in emergency situations while others fall apart. And sometimes you'll never know until you're in that circumstance, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So Irene, what is one piece of advice that you wish you had heard when you were in your 20s and 30s?
Mm, I don't know. In Asian culture, we're always so careful, right? I don't know about your parents. They're like, don't do this, don't do that. You
Yeah.
get hurt, you make into big trouble. The world is going to end because you did this. I
And
think,
and there's more restrictions on women, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
found, right?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, the tiny little action that I do is going to end the world like that. Are you sure? Okay. So I would like to tell my younger self that, okay, go out there, be more adventurous, but be responsible too. I'm not saying that you be adventurous but not being responsible for yourself. Okay. Be more adventurous and do not be afraid of making mistakes. But those are responsible mistakes as well. Okay. Make sure the mistakes that you make, you can be responsible for it. So I would just go and tell my younger one, be more adventurous and make more mistakes, responsible mistakes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that because we grow the most from our mistakes and failures, I feel. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Irene, about your work, the positives, negative sides of it, anything else?
I have talked to like a lot of women from high position. They all talk about women empowerment. Um, I know it's very important to have like women empowerment, but some of the women, I don't know, they have like quite a different perceptions. They think that women empowerment pretty much like just within the women's society or the women the small corner of a few women. But I feel that a true genuine women empowerment means that despite there are some male co-worker or influential men, we can still function the same and then we can still be great. So we need to learn how to get along with them in our nice, gracious, and diplomatic way. So this is my version of woman empowerment.
Yes, and I love that you are so comfortable in contexts where very few women are there, right? You're often the only woman in the boardroom, Irene. Uh,
Yes.
I admire and you're strong and yet you're so gentle and you're intuitive and you have so much EQ. I've learned a lot from you, Irene. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing your work and life journey. I want to encourage you to add Irene J on LinkedIn. And yeah, feel free to reach out to her if you have any questions about biotech. Is it biotech? Biomedical
Yes.
technology?
Medical technology. Yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And yeah, for joining our interview.
Thank you.